Talk like this to yourself for 7 days. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to effortlessly succeed while others struggle their entire lives, never quite reaching their potential? I've spent decades studying this phenomenon, and what I've discovered may surprise you. There exists a fundamental law, a strange secret, if you will, that separates those who achieve from those who merely dream. This secret has been hiding in plain sight throughout human history. The ancient Egyptians knew it. Solomon wrote about it. Every great philosopher, teacher, and spiritual leader has pointed to it. Yet most people will never discover it, though it's right in front of them. What is this secret? I can share it with you in just 6 words. We become what we think about. That's it. These 6 words changed my life, and they can change yours too. You see, your thoughts are not just fleeting moments in your mind. They are powerful seeds being planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Scientists have now proven what wise men have always known. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you consistently think certain thoughts, your mind begins to create pathways that make those thoughts your reality. This follows what I call the agricultural principle. No farmer would dream of planting corn and expecting to harvest wheat. Yet people do the equivalent every day with their thoughts. They plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, then wonder why they harvest lives of struggle, worry, and restriction. If you plant thoughts of success, abundance, and capability in your mind, holding them there consistently, those thoughts must, by this immutable law, blossom into your reality. This is not wishful thinking or magic. It's as practical and predictable as planting a garden. Starting today, I want you to begin practicing a simple daily affirmation. Each morning and evening, say to yourself with conviction, I am the captain of my destiny. Feel the truth of these words. Let them sink deep into your consciousness. Picture yourself at the helm of a great ship, confidently navigating toward your chosen destination. For the next 7 days, guard your thoughts carefully. When negative thoughts arise, and they will, gently but firmly replace them with thoughts aligned with your goals. This mental discipline is the foundation upon which all achievement is built. This strange secret isn't selective. It works for everyone who applies it, without fail. The thoughts you habitually think are creating your future right now, whether you're aware of it or not. By taking control of those thoughts, you take control of your destiny. Most people drift through life, their thoughts tossed about like leaves in the wind. But not you, not anymore. Not anymore. You now possess knowledge that puts you among the small percentage of humanity who understand how life really works. You know the strange secret of true success. Use this knowledge wisely. Your life will never be the same. What if I told you that your mind is like a garden? Would you believe me? It's true. The thoughts you plant today become the reality you live tomorrow. This principle is as certain as gravity, yet most people live their entire lives never fully grasping its significance. Your mind is the most fertile soil on earth. It doesn't discriminate between positive thoughts and negative ones. It simply accepts whatever seeds you plant and begins the work of bringing them to life. This is why we must become careful gardeners of our own thinking. Most people I meet are sabotaging their success every single day without even realizing it. They wake up and immediately begin planting weeds in their mental garden. I'm too tired. This day will be difficult. I'm not good at this. These negative thoughts, repeated day after day, grow into the circumstances they most fear. The amazing power of a single thought, repeated consistently, cannot be overstated. William James, the father of American psychology, discovered that when a thought is held in mind consistently for just 17 seconds, another similar thought joins it. Hold that combined thought for another 17 seconds, and another related thought joins them. This continues until, at the 68-second mark, a physiological change occurs in your body. You've planted something powerful. How then shall we tend our mental gardens? First, we must become aware of the weeds, those negative patterns of self-talk that limit our potential. Listen to yourself throughout the day. What are you saying when you make a mistake? What runs through your mind when you face a challenge? These automatic responses reveal what's already growing in your garden. Next, we must begin the deliberate work of planting new seeds. Choose thoughts that serve your highest good. When a negative thought appears, recognize it for what it is, just a thought, not a reality, and replace it with something better. I can handle this. I'm learning and improving. I have everything I need to succeed. Your mind is always working, always growing something. The only question is, what are you choosing to grow? The quality of your life depends on your answer. Starting today, I want you to practice this simple but powerful affirmation. I choose thoughts that serve my highest good. Say it when you wake up. Repeat it when facing challenges. Write it down and place it where you'll see it throughout your day. This is not positive thinking in the superficial sense. This is recognizing the true nature of your mind and working with it, not against it. This is taking control of the one thing you absolutely can control. The thoughts you choose to nurture. For the next 7 days, become a diligent gardener of your mind. Pull the weeds of doubt, fear, and limitation. Plant seeds of possibility, confidence, and determination. Water them with your attention and watch what begins to grow in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Your mind is waiting for your instructions. What will you tell it today? The ship that sets sail without a clear destination is destined to wander aimlessly on the vast ocean. So it is with our lives. The most remarkable difference between those who achieve great things and those who merely dream is surprisingly simple. Those who achieve know precisely where they're going. Did you know that only about 3 people out of every 100 have clearly defined goals? It's true. The overwhelming majority of people move through life reacting to circumstances rather than creating them. They are like leaves in the wind, going wherever the currents of life take them, and then wondering why they never seem to arrive anywhere meaningful. A goal, properly set, is like a magnet. It attracts the things, people, and circumstances needed for its fulfillment. But this magnetic power only works when the goal is specific and clearly defined. Vague wishes like more money or better health lack the clarity needed to activate this principle. When you can state exactly what you want, when you want it, and why you want it, something almost miraculous begins to happen. Your mind, that wonderful servant, begins working day and night on ways to bring it into reality. Here's an exercise that has changed countless lives. Take a sheet of paper and at the top write, "What do I truly want?" Then answer these 5 questions with complete honesty. First, what achievement would make me most proud? Second, what would I attempt if I knew I could not fail? Third, what would I do if I had unlimited resources? Fourth, what would bring me the greatest joy? And fifth, what legacy do I want to leave behind? Your answers reveal the destination points that matter most to you. These aren't casual wishes. They're the signposts of your authentic life path. Now, make each goal so vivid and clear that you could explain it to a child. Include numbers, dates, and sensory details. Don't say, "I want financial security." Instead, say, "By December 31st next year, I will have $20,000 in my savings account, which will give me the freedom to make better career choices." The difference is remarkable. The first statement is a wish. The second is a target so clear you can hardly miss it. Ships and planes don't reach their destinations by accident. They have sophisticated navigation systems and make constant course corrections. Your clearly defined goals serve as your personal navigation system. For the next 7 days, I want you to practice this daily affirmation with conviction. I know precisely what I want and why I want it. Say it upon waking, before meals, and just before sleep. Feel the certainty of those words. Let them sink deep into your consciousness. By setting your destination before beginning your journey, you activate forces both within yourself and in the world around you that will help bring your goals into reality. This isn't mystical thinking. It's how achievement has always worked. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but that step must be in a direction you've thoughtfully chosen. Know your destination, and the path will reveal itself. Success doesn't happen by accident. It occurs by design, your design. And the most powerful tool you possess for creating that design is your ability to think in a sustained, concentrated manner. This is the magic that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. I've studied the habits of successful men and women for decades, and I've discovered something remarkable. Those who achieve greatness share one common trait. They dedicate time each day to focused, deliberate thought. While most people allow their minds to wander aimlessly like leaves blown by the wind, achievers harness their thinking with purpose and direction. There's a simple rule I call the 30-minute rule. Just 30 minutes of concentrated thought on a single problem or goal each day can revolutionize your life. Imagine what would happen if you devoted half an hour every morning to thinking deeply about your most important objective. Not worrying about it, not daydreaming, but truly thinking, examining it from every angle, considering solutions, planning your approach. We live in an age of constant distraction. The average person checks their phone 96 times a day. That's once every 10 minutes. Television, social media, endless notifications. These modern conveniences have become modern traps for our attention. They fragment our thinking until we're left with mental confetti instead of the solid foundation of sustained thought. Great achievements aren't born in the chaos of distraction. They're born in quiet moments of reflection, in the peaceful garden of concentrated thinking. Edison didn't invent the light bulb while jumping from one task to another. He devoted thousands of hours of sustained thought to a single problem until the solution emerged. Your ability to focus your mind is like a muscle. At first, sitting quietly and thinking about one thing might feel impossible. Your mind will rebel. It will try to distract you with random thoughts, sudden worries, or the urge to check your phone. This is normal. Just as your muscles protest when you begin exercising, your mind resists the discipline of focus. But with practice, your mental focus muscle will strengthen. Start with just 5 minutes of concentrated thought on your most important goal. Gradually increase to 10 minutes, then 20, then 30, then 30. You'll be amazed at how this simple practice will transform your productivity and creativity. When you dedicate time each day to powerful, focused thought, you're planting seeds that will grow into remarkable achievements. Solutions to problems that seemed impossible will suddenly appear. Opportunities you never noticed will become obvious. Patterns and connections will emerge that were invisible before. Remember this: the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of your thinking, and quality thinking requires time, silence, and concentration. So today, and for the next 7 days, tell yourself, I dedicate time each day to powerful, focused thought. Find a quiet place, turn off all distractions, and think deeply about your most important goal for just 30 minutes. This simple practice, consistently applied, will unleash a magic in your life that few people ever experience. The world belongs to those who can think. Truly think, in a sustained and concentrated manner. Make this your daily practice, and watch as your life transforms before your eyes. There exists within each of us a remarkable power, a force so transformative that once unleashed, it can alter the very course of our lives. This power is the ability to act as if failure were not even a possibility in our universe. Consider this truth: courage always comes before confidence. Many wait until they feel confident before taking action, but they've placed the cart before the horse. The millionaire businessman didn't feel like a success before he achieved. He acted like a success first. The accomplished musician didn't wait until she felt worthy of the stage. She stepped onto it despite her fears. I'm reminded of a young woman I once met in Chicago. She had no special advantages, no wealthy connections, and no formal education beyond high school. What she possessed was something far more valuable: an absolute refusal to entertain the notion that her dreams might not materialize. When she spoke of her vision to start her own business, there was no hint of if only when. Within 3 years, she had built a thriving enterprise that now employs dozens of people. What made the difference? She acted as if success was her only option. This isn't mere positive thinkings. This is about a fundamental psychological principle. When we act as if something were true, our minds begin to accept it as reality, and our actions naturally align with that belief. Scientists call this embodied cognition, the understanding that our physical actions directly influence our mental states. Think about the times you've witnessed a self-fulfilling prophecy in action. The salesman who approaches each day, certain he'll make sales, usually does. The student who approaches the test believing she'll excel typically performs better than the one filled with doubt. No, I'm not suggesting we ignore reality or practical challenges. Rather, I'm advocating for what I call practical boldness, acknowledging obstacles while simultaneously refusing to be defined by them. Begin today with this simple practice. Choose one area where you've been hesitant or doubtful. For the next 7 days, act as if success in this area is absolutely guaranteed. Notice how your posture changes, how your voice carries different weight, how you make decisions with greater clarity. When you wake tomorrow morning, stand tall, shoulders back, and declare aloud, "I move forward boldly, knowing success is inevitable." Say it with conviction. Feel the words resonate in your body. Then carry that physical sensation throughout your day. The greatest achievers throughout history weren't necessarily the most talented, the most educated, or the most privileged. They were those who continued to take bold action while others hesitated. They were those who, when faced with uncertainty, chose to act as if they could not fail. The world makes way for those who move with conviction. When you approach life with unwavering belief in your eventual success, you'll be amazed at how circumstances, opportunities, and even people seem to arrange themselves to help you achieve it. Act as if it were impossible to fail, and you'll discover that success was waiting for you all along. Have you ever watched a mighty oak and wondered about its beginning? That towering giant started as a tiny acorn, so small you could hold several in the palm of your hand. Nature teaches us one of life's most profound secrets. Mighty results grow from tiny beginnings. Friends, I want to share with you today the astonishing power of small decisions. The quality of your life right now is the direct result of thousands of small choices you've made until this point. Not the big dramatic moments, but the quiet, seemingly insignificant decisions you make hour by hour, day by day. Consider the mathematics of improvement. If you improve just 1% each day, in 1 year, you'll be 30, 7 times better than when you started. This miracle of compound growth works silently in every area of life: your health, relationships, finances, and personal growth. Most people dramatically overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year of consistent effort. The champions in life understand that success is rarely about grand, heroic gestures. Success is the product of showing up daily, making slightly better choices, and allowing time to multiply your efforts. Let me share a secret that the most accomplished people understand. Overwhelming goals become achievable when broken into daily actions. Instead of being paralyzed by the mountain before you, focus only on the next step. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. What small stone can you move today? Perhaps it's reading 10 pages of a good book, saving a small amount of money, expressing appreciation to someone important in your life, or taking a brief walk. These actions might seem insignificant in isolation, but their cumulative effect is nothing short of miraculous. Negative choices compound with equal force. The person who wastes small amounts of time daily soon finds years have slipped away. The individual who consistently makes poor financial decisions wakes up one day to discover financial freedom has become nearly impossible. The beautiful truth is that tiny course corrections today can dramatically alter your destination. A ship that changes course by just 1 degree will arrive at an entirely different port than originally planned when given enough distance. Your life follows this same principle. Each small choice is a rudder movement, determining where you'll ultimately dock. The habits you form, the words you speak to yourself, the people you associate with, these seemingly small factors create the mighty current of your life's direction. For the next 7 days, I challenge you to make each small decision with greater awareness. Ask yourself, does this choice move me toward my goals, or away from them, feel the power that comes from this simple awareness and watch how your life begins to change through the compound effect of better decisions. Today, say to yourself with conviction, "Each small choice I make today shapes my tomorrow." Your future is created decision by decision, moment by moment. The compound effect is working right now. Make sure it's working in your favor. The true measure of a man or woman is found not in what they accumulate, but in what they contribute. The ancient wisdom that has guided successful people throughout history reveals this profound truth. Your rewards in life will be in direct proportion to the value you provide to others. I've studied the lives of great men and women for decades, and I've discovered that those who achieve lasting success understand a fundamental principle. The marketplace is the most perfect judge of contribution that has ever existed. It doesn't care about your intentions or your desires. It cares only about one thing, the value you bring to others. Consider this carefully. The amount of money in your bank account, the opportunities that come your way, the doors that open before you. These are all perfect reflections of the service you've rendered. If you want more rewards, there is only one certain path. Increase your service. This truth operates with the precision of mathematics. Just as surely as 2 plus 2 equals 4, greater service leads to greater rewards. The marketplace never fails in this calculation. Now you might be wondering, how do I increase my value? The answer is beautifully simple. Look around you. What problems do people have that you can solve? What needs exist that you can fill? What pain points can you address? Each of us has been given unique talents, abilities, and perspectives. Your particular combination of gifts allows you to serve in ways no one else can. Your value lies in discovering how your abilities can solve problems for others. A baker provides value by creating delicious bread that nourishes families. A teacher provides value by imparting knowledge that transforms lives. A business owner provides value by organizing resources to meet needs efficiently. What about you? How can you serve more completely? How can you solve bigger problems? How can you reach more people who need what you have to offer? Create your personal service inventory today. List your skills, your knowledge, your experiences, even your difficulties overcome. Within this inventory lies the seeds of tremendous value you can provide to others. Increasing your service doesn't always mean working harder or longer. Often it means working smarter, finding more effective ways to serve, reaching those who most need what you offer, or solving more significant problems. Each morning for the next 7 days, say these words to yourself with conviction. I constantly seek ways to provide more value. Let this thought sink deep into your consciousness. When you make this your focus, you align yourself with a fundamental law of success. The world rewards value. It always has and it always will. When you dedicate yourself to increasing your service, to becoming a person of greater value, you set in motion forces that cannot help but bring you greater rewards. Your commitment to service becomes the measure of your success, not what you get, but what you give. This is the path walked by all truly successful individuals. Make it your path too. Your attitude is the controlling factor in your life. It determines your altitude, how high you'll fly, what you'll accomplish, and the quality of your journey. I've studied successful people for decades, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that attitude separates the extraordinary from the ordinary more than any other factor. Each morning when you wake up, you make a fundamental choice. You decide whether today will be magnificent or miserable. The remarkable truth is that the circumstances themselves rarely matter as much as how you choose to interpret and respond to them. I remember visiting 2 shoe salesmen who were sent to a remote village. The first called home and said, "Situation hopeless. No one wears shoes." The second called and excitedly reported, "Incredible opportunity. No one has shoes yet. Same circumstance. Vastly different attitudes." Your mental climate is entirely within your control. When rain falls, it nourishes flowers in one person's garden and weeds in another's. The rain is neutral. It's what you've planted that makes the difference. So it is with the events of your life. Taking responsibility for your attitude is the first step toward transformation. Stop blaming traffic, the economy, your boss, or your past for your mood. These external factors only have the power you give them. The moment you accept that your attitude is your choice, regardless of circumstances, you become unstoppable. Consider challenges as merely stepping stones. Every obstacle presents an opportunity to develop strength, wisdom, and character. The truth is, diamonds are formed under pressure, and so is human excellence. An attitude of gratitude and positive expectancy will revolutionize your experience. When you expect good things, you notice opportunities others miss. When you're grateful for what you have, you attract more to be grateful for. This isn't mystical thinking, it's practical psychology. Your brain is programmed to find evidence for whatever you believe to be true. I once met a man who lost everything in a fire: his home, possessions, even family photographs. When I expressed sympathy, he smiled and said, "I've discovered what truly can't be taken from me: my attitude, my knowledge, and my determination." Within 2 years, he had built an even better life because his attitude propelled him forward rather than anchored him to his loss. For the next 7 days, begin each morning by saying aloud, "I choose my attitude regardless of circumstances." Feel the power in those words. You're declaring your freedom from reactive living. You're announcing your sovereignty over your inner world. Watch how this simple practice transforms your interactions, your work, your relationships. Notice how problems that once seemed overwhelming now appear manageable. Observe how people respond differently to you. Your attitude is contagious. It affects everyone around you. By consciously controlling it, you not only elevate your own life, but lift others as well. There is perhaps no greater service you can offer the world than maintaining an attitude of optimism, courage, and expectancy in the face of life's challenges. The miracle of attitude control is available to anyone willing to practice it. Begin today and watch as your entire world transforms. Imagine for a moment that you and I are standing at the edge of a gold mine. The vein of precious metal runs deep into the mountain, and we've been told by reliable sources that untold by reliable sources, that untold riches await us if we simply keep digging. Would you stop after the first few feet if you hadn't struck gold? Would you abandon the effort after a day or two of challenging work? Of course not. Yet this is precisely what most people do in life. They give up just inches from their breakthrough, never realizing how close they truly were to magnificent success. Persistence is the great equalizer in human achievement. It matters not whether you were born with advantages or disadvantages, with talent or without. The person who stays on course, who refuses to quit, who persists without exception, will inevitably succeed. Consider this fact. Nearly every overnight success you've ever heard about was actually years or even decades in the making. The author whose book suddenly tops the bestseller lists likely wrote in obscurity for years. The musician who seems to appear from nowhere spent countless hours practicing when no one was listening. The entrepreneur whose company becomes a household name probably failed multiple times before finding the right formula. What separates these achievers from the masses is simple. They refused to quit. They persisted without exception. Think about water for a moment. Soft, yielding water can, over time, cut through the hardest stone, not through force, but through persistence. By continuing to flow day after day, year after year, millennium after millennium after millennium, you and I can learn from water. We can embrace its patient, persistent nature and apply it to our lives and our goals. When you face an obstacle, and you will face many, remember that it's merely a test of your persistence. Each challenge asks the simple question, how badly do you want this? Your answer comes not in words, but in actions. Will you continue despite the difficulties? Will you adjust your approach and try again? Or will you join the ranks of those who quit and spend their lives wondering what if? The true secret to persistence is falling in love with the process rather than fixating only on the outcome. When you learn to embrace the journey itself, the daily work, the learning, the growth that comes from consistent effort, you develop the staying power needed for remarkable achievement. For the next 7 days, I want you to adopt this powerful daily practice. Each morning, look in the mirror and say with conviction, I persist without exception. Let these words sink deep into your consciousness. When challenges arise, and they will, repeat this phrase. When you feel like quitting, and you might, remember these words. Your capacity to persist will determine the height of your achievements more than any other single factor. The world makes way for the person who refuses to be stopped by temporary failure. Roadblocks become stepping stones when viewed through the lens of persistence. Remember, most people quit just before their breakthrough moment. They give up at the first, second, or third obstacle. But not you. You now understand the power of persistence. You know that staying the course, especially when it's difficult, is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. I persist without exception. Make these 5 words your constant companion and watch as they transform your life. The environment in which you immerse yourself might be the most overlooked factor in your journey toward success. Look around you right now. What do you see? Who surrounds you? What messages bombard your senses daily? These elements are not passive backdrops to your life story. They are active architects of your destiny. I've often told my listeners that we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. This isn't merely a clever saying, it's a fundamental truth about human development. Like a chameleon unconsciously changing colors to match its surroundings, you gradually absorb the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of those with whom you regularly associate. Consider the struggling individual who joins a mastermind group of successful entrepreneurs. Within months, their thinking transforms. Their standards elevate. What once seemed impossible now appears inevitable. Nothing in their innate ability changed, only their environment. Your physical surroundings speak to you with silent but persistent voices. A cluttered desk whispers, disorder is acceptable. Books on shelves call out with the wisdom they contain, whether or not you open them. Even the pictures on your walls program your subconscious mind with their subtle messages. What about the information you consume? In this age of endless content, your mental diet matters more than ever. News broadcasts filled with tragedy and fear, mindless entertainment, or conversations centered on gossip and complaints, all plant seeds in your mental garden. Are these the crops you wish to harvest? The good news is that unlike many factors in life, your environment remains largely within your control. You can deliberately engineer it to support your highest aspirations. This doesn't necessarily mean abandoning old friends or moving to a new city, though sometimes such drastic changes are precisely what's needed. Often it simply means making conscious choices about where you direct your attention. Seek out mentors whose achievements inspire you, whether in person or through books and recordings. Cultivate friendships with those who believe in possibilities rather than limitations. Create spaces that reflect order, beauty, and purpose. Feed your mind with information that enlightens rather than merely entertains. Environment includes not just what's around you, but what's within you. The conversations you have with yourself constitute your most intimate environment. This is why, for the next 7 days, I urge you to practice saying to yourself, I consciously create surroundings that nurture my growth. When you deliberately shape your environment, you set in motion forces that make success almost inevitable. You no longer swim against the current, but align yourself with streams that carry you toward your goals. Your willpower, previously exhausted by resistance, now channels into creativity and contribution. The greatest achievers throughout history understood this principle. They didn't succeed despite their circumstances. They succeeded because they created circumstances that made failure nearly impossible. You possess this same power. Exercise it wisely, for as you shape your environment, so too does it shape you. In the quiet chambers of your mind exists a power so profound that, once harnessed, it can literally transform your existence. This power is courage, not the loud, boisterous kind that makes headlines, but the quiet, persistent courage that shows up day after day when no one is watching. You see, life's greatest battles are not fought on public stages, but in the privacy of your own thoughts. It's that moment when you decide to keep going despite every logical reason to quit. It's that inner voice that whispers yes when everything around you screams no. I've studied successful people for decades, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that quiet courage is the common denominator among them all. They weren't necessarily smarter, more talented, or more privileged, but they all possessed this remarkable ability to face their fears and act anyway. Fear, you must understand, is not your enemy. It's simply a signal, information that you're stretching beyond your comfort zone. The average person interprets this signal as a warning to retreat. The successful person recognizes it as a sign of growth and proceeds with caution but determination. Consider the salesperson who faces rejection daily but makes one more call. Think about the entrepreneur who watches their savings dwindle but keeps building their dream. Reflect on the artist who endures criticism but continues to create. These people aren't fearless. They're fear conquerors. Courage, in its purest form, is simply doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel about it. It's feeling the trembling in your hands but extending them anyway. It's acknowledging the butterflies in your stomach but allowing them to fly in formation. For the next 7 days, I want you to practice this affirmation. I act with quiet courage, especially when I feel afraid. Say it upon waking. Repeat it when faced with a challenge. Whisper it before making that difficult phone call or having that necessary conversation. Courage, like any muscle, grows stronger with use. Each time you choose action over avoidance, you're building your courage muscle. Each time you face a fear rather than run from it, you're expanding your zone of comfort. The beautiful paradox of quiet courage is that, while it feels intensely personal in the moment, its effects ripple outward in ways you cannot imagine. Your example silently inspires others. Your persistence quietly changes circumstances. Your determination subtly shifts reality. Most people wait to feel courageous before taking action, not realizing that courage is born in action itself. You don't need to feel brave to act brave. In fact, acting brave is precisely what creates the feeling of bravery. As you move through this week, identify one area where fear has been holding you back. Perhaps it's asking for that promotion, starting that side business, or having that difficult conversation. Now, instead of waiting until you feel ready, decide to take one small, courageous step forward. The quiet courage you cultivate during these 7 days will become a foundation upon which you can build a remarkable life, one brave decision at a time. Look at yourself in the mirror this morning. That person looking back at you stands at the threshold of remarkable transformation. 7 days from now, that same reflection will belong to someone more confident, more purposeful, and considerably closer to their goals. This isn't wishful thinking. It's the natural law of mental transformation that functions with mathematical precision. The preceding chapters have given you the tools needed for this journey. Now I invite you to make a commitment. For just 7 days, speak to yourself exactly as we've outlined. No exceptions, no excuses, and no half measures. 7 days of complete mental discipline. Why 7 days? Because this modest time frame represents the perfect balance between effort and reward. It's long enough to interrupt old patterns, but short enough to maintain enthusiastic commitment. It's a psychological sprint rather than a marathon. Each morning upon waking, before the world rushes in with its demands, repeat your daily affirmations with genuine emotion. Feel the truth of each statement as it passes your lips. I am the captain of my destiny. I choose thoughts that serve my highest good. I know precisely what I want and why I want it. Speak these words with conviction, as if they were already established facts. Throughout each day, become vigilant about your internal dialogue. When a negative thought appears, and it will, immediately replace it with its positive counterpart. Don't battle the negative. Simply substitute the positive. What you resist persists, but what you replace dissolves. For these 7 days, immerse yourself in material that reinforces your new thinking. Read books that inspire rather than newspapers that depress. Listen to uplifting audio during your commute. Surround yourself with people who believe in possibilities rather than limitations. Each evening before sleep, review your day's victories, no matter how small. Did you redirect a negative thought? Did you take one action toward your goal? Did you speak with confidence about your future? Acknowledge these victories and let them accompany you into peaceful sleep. By the fourth day, you'll notice subtle shifts in your perception. Opportunities previously invisible will begin appearing. Your energy will increase. Problems that once seemed insurmountable will begin revealing solutions. By day 7, you'll experience what can only be described as a rebirth of purpose. The person who began this journey will have undergone a genuine transformation, not through external circumstances changing, but through the far more powerful mechanism of internal perception shifting. Remember this truth. Nothing has to change in your external world for everything to change in your internal world. And once your internal world transforms, the external must, by law, follow suit. The beauty of this 7-day experiment lies in its simplicity. Anyone can maintain discipline for 7 days. Yet the habits formed in this brief period can establish patterns that continue benefiting you for years to come. Begin today, not tomorrow, not when circumstances seem perfect, but right now. 7 days from this moment, you'll look back with profound gratitude that you made this commitment to yourself. The person you're becoming is waiting to meet you, just 7 days away.